We're almost there. Okay, we're here. Yay. All right. Okay, here we go. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to stop being fearful of living on your own if you have made the decision to leave your partner or have already left your partner. And more importantly, this is going to help you learn how to live to be your own best friend so you no longer have to settle for less in your relationships. Hi, I'm Sherry Gaba. I'm the founder of Wake Up Recovery, and I am the go-to expert alongside Dr. Drew Pinsky on VH1 Celebrity Rehab. I am the author of The Marriage and Relationship Junkie and the author of Infinite Recovery. That you can find them both on Amazon. So welcome to today's video. This is our third video of a 5-part series. And if you've been following along, we've talked about a process for creating a life free of obsessing about your ex-partners or possibly the partner that you're thinking of leaving or other relationships. I've shared how this is going to immediately help you achieve greater self-esteem, a better understanding of your own true self and your values, as well as the ability to reflect on and understand what you really want and need in a partner and in your life. So if you haven't been following, go back and watch the last 2 Facebook Lives. It'll definitely be on my Facebook feed, Codependence Recover. You can go to the Facebook group, Codependence Recover. You can join and I will accept you. And there's a couple of other Facebook Lives there. Oh, and don't forget, in the comment section here, I'm giving away a free ebook. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Hey. I'm giving away a free ebook, and it should be up, called Filling Your Empty Heart. And it's for all of you that, are dealing with love addiction or going through a breakup or going through some kind of trauma over a past relationship. It's a fantastic little ebook, and there'll also be a little quiz to see if you are a love addict. And I'd love for you to get my free gift. So today the goal is to break you free of your self-limiting beliefs and fears. This way you'll never have to worry about being afraid of being alone, because you're going to be your own best friend and you'll no longer have to settle for less in your relationships. So we've got a lot to cover today, so be sure to have your pen and paper ready to take notes to follow along. Coming up, I'll reveal the truth behind the old belief that you can't possibly be happy on your own, or that you'll never find anyone better than the person you're with. And more importantly, I'll share with you what you need to know instead. And I want you to know there's no shame if you're still in a relationship that is not working for you. There are reasons that you're sort of stuck. So please do not beat yourself up. You will do what you need to do when it is that time and when you're doing the healing work. So be kind and compassionate to yourself. You are where you are. And if you're still obsessing over an ex, it's probably the same thing. So I just really want you to not feel the shame of either of those things. So let's get into the heart of today's video. Us codependents or love addicts are afraid to be on our own. We are deathly afraid. Deathly afraid. We feel empty. We feel lost. It's unbearable. The idea of being alone is the worst thing that could possibly happen to us. We need constant affirmation and companionship. We need to be needed because we believe deep down that our partners stay with us because they're dependent on us. Those of us struggling with codependency or love addiction issues don't trust themselves, and we're not comfortable trusting others either, for the simple reason that no one has ever really been trustworthy in our lives. I talk a lot about early trauma. Maybe you've been neglected or abused or abandoned by your parents, which means we have never ever really felt safe. And we spend our lives looking for relationships and love that will nurture us the way our parents never did. But instead, we end up usually with self-centered, unavailable, and often narcissistic people or addicts that are untreated. In a codependent relationship, neither partner ever really gets what they need, because as much as we'd like and try to, we can never get back what we didn't get as children. It just never works. Not to mention, there's little to no dignity or respect in a relationship in which both parents are unable to disengage when it's obvious the relationship is toxic and is no longer working. And the key to being comfortable on your own is discovering, accepting, and loving, and really being true to who you really are. Becoming a healthy adult means learning to let go of all the unhealthy, toxic lessons you've learned as a child and to learn how to live independently. You have to learn how to live independently before you can learn to live interdependently. When I divorced my addicted ex, I had to spend a lot of time developing me and finding the lost parts of me, the shadow parts, the hidden parts that had been hidden away. I had to nurture new friendships, find new interests, discover new things I truly loved, not what I thought I was supposed to love, because that's what I had been taught as a child, or because it's what my partner needed. Starting the journey of self-awareness is definitely not easy, and it can be painful learning to live on your own. I did it for 4 years after my last divorce. It started out painful, and then it became the greatest joy of my life. I took up outrigger canoeing. I made new friends. It was incredible. So at the bottom of the pain is where you're going to find the insight and the wisdom and the courage to live on your own or live with someone happy regardless. Pain is the doorway to healing. And that's what we're all trying to avoid. That's really what addiction is. We're trying to avoid that pain, either through food or love or sex or substances or codependency. You in codependency, this other person is what you think is going to fill you up. So if you just allow yourself to be open to the pain, it's going to pass. I promise. It's only temporary. You'll hear messages from the deepest part of you that will not only bring you peace and healing, but even can save your life. Being afraid to be alone is a dance of fear and insecurity and shame. And it's just an old way of believing. And it's just not true. Fortunately, it's within you, and it was for me to learn a new dance, the dance of power, courage, and determination. It was about letting go for me and for you too, the desperation, and really honoring your own values. So you stop settling for unacceptable behaviors from others. And when you know and appreciate your own worth, you're able to be autonomous and less vulnerable to falling into codependent relationships. I often talk about the relationship, and I'll just make it short, that my mother was grieving my dad. Of course, grief is real. She also was a love addict. She also had this deep emptiness inside of her. And she was a victim, really. She became a victim to a predator. When you're vulnerable and you're not healed and you're still not over somebody else and you haven't been able to do the trauma work and all the things it takes to learn to really love yourself and feel worthy to receive, you're going to be a victim. You're going to be vulnerable to meeting people that are not good for you. That could be somebody that's, physically, emotionally unavailable. It could be a narcissist. It could be, somebody that's an addict who is, not in recovery. These are the kind of people you're going to attract if you don't do the work. So I just always like to share that story about my mom. And of course, that's my story as well. I talk about it all the time, I talk about it throughout my book, The Marriage and Relationship Junkie, which is on Amazon. And I really do share, honestly, transparently, my own story of love addiction and codependency. So check it out. But as I mentioned, no one, including our partners or exes, can ever give us everything we didn't get as children, because our childhoods are in the past. That's gone. It's over. It's important to acknowledge the neglect or abandonment of your childhood. I'm not saying that you don't, you minimize it. It definitely happened. It was real. But at the same time, you need to learn to let go of the childlike part of yourself. You can learn to accept and heal those early wounds rather than use them as an impetus to seek or stay in really unhealthy, toxic relationships or attracting those types of people. I share my own story of early childhood abandonment. I was a premature baby coming into the world 2.5 months early. I received no touch, no nurturing, no bonding or healthy attachments to my mom because I was in this little incubator for 2.5 months And in those days, they didn't allow moms to hold you because of the germs that they might give you, which they learned later was not the case. So this early attachment wound for me, set me up for a lifetime of separation anxiety, abandonment issues, feeling like I'm in the ethers of nothingness and emptiness when I wasn't attached or in a relationship. It affected every decision I made in intimate relationships because I couldn't bear to be alone. So I settled over and over and over again to avoid the emptiness I would feel if not in a relationship. So honestly, my life's work is to heal and help you the way I have helped myself with the right support to work through this early trauma so you can have a fulfilling and healthy relationship, which I have today. So let's do a quick review of what we just covered. First, we saw a whole new way to think about how to stop being fearful of being on your own. You can learn what you learned here today to immediately help you let go of your fear and create the happy, healthy life you desire with or without a partner. Speaking of taking action, before we go today, leave me a comment right below in the comment section. Tell me what life will look like a year from now once you've applied all of this to yourself. What does that look like for you? If you found this video helpful, useful, please share it on Facebook or join my Facebook group, Codependence Recover for continued support. And in the next video, I'm going to show you the process I use to help you discover your authentic self so you can find what brings you joy and meaning rather than being focused on everyone and everything around you. I build on everything we talked about today, and most importantly, it outlines everything from discovering your authentic self to what you need to create a happier, healthier, more fulfilling relationship. Plus, you'll identify a few things that are likely holding you back from discovering the real you. So take what you've learned today, it was a very short Facebook Live, but it gave you just a few tips, and start putting it into practice. Maybe you're just in the beginning stages, or maybe you can apply it right away. The key is to get moving. You want to take these small steps, which will get you exactly where you want to be. Don't forget to leave a comment. I see some comments here. Jamie, feelings of loneliness can be some of the toughest pain. Yes, it can. And you know what? We're also dealing with the holidays right now, and there's a lot of expectations. There's a lot around us that tells us, it's the Hallmark time where we're supposed to be coupled up, and it can be painful, but, create some new traditions. For me, when I was single, I would go away for the holidays. I just didn't want to be here for the holidays. It helped me to have something to look forward to. So, that's one thing you can do. You could even, do some volunteer work. I used to feed people at a homeless shelter, a homeless kitchen when I was, by myself. And you can do that even if you're with somebody, but it's just a great, meaningful experience. And, whenever we serve other people, we're going to feel so much better about ourselves. And I think the whole idea about the holidays will sort of fade away. And then I just noticed Elizabeth said that she shared. Thank you, Elizabeth. I had one other thing I wanted to say. I was thinking about a client I had a couple years ago. We'll use a different name just for confidentiality purposes. Her name was Brenda. And, Brenda was raising her little sister. Her mother was an alcoholic, and there was no, Brenda. Brenda's whole life was other focused on this little sister. Her mom was completely unavailable to her, and she just learned at a really young age to become super other focused because nobody really was there for her. She didn't receive the love that she needed, like I was talking about earlier. She was, neglected. And so for her, becoming other focused, all of her picks, her picker, as we say, was off because she didn't even know what she wanted or desired because she had never taken the time to even think about those things because she was so busy, taking care of everybody else. And you may have that same story. Maybe you're somebody that came from a single mother. I made my own mistakes too. I was a single mom, and I had one daughter, and often, I did what's called parentifying her. She became like a little adult child, and she was my surrogate partner in a way, and my best friend. And she wasn't my best friend. She was my child, and she deserved to be treated as such. And so for her, she had to grow up really fast. Again, I don't believe I neglected her. I gave her a lot of love. And in fact, she's fantastic, very wonderful person, successful inside and out. She's a mother herself. But the point was, you know, she became sort of other focused because she was always sort of taking care of mom's needs. You know, I was going from relationship to relationship. And, you know, it's funny with alcoholics, people can say, like, and with my ex-husband, I knew when he was drinking. I just knew. And it's really funny because when my daughter knew that I was going through a breakup, or I was feeling upset over a toxic relationship, or was feeling really empty and alone, she would say, Mom, you know, are you talking to him again? Are you out there dating again? Because I can tell. So listen, people who love you, you know, they are the ones that have the secondary consequences of some of our choices and behaviors. So, you know, really do the work. I did a lot of trauma work. I really got back into my body. I really got back into knowing what it was like to be, you know, inside myself, so I didn't have to run for myself. I was comfortable in my own skin, and I did a lot of trauma work. And there's great trauma work out there. There's somatic experiencing, there's EMDR, there's trauma yoga. There's so many things. Elizabeth is saying working on building a network of individuals to help others and not being in the fear of rejection. I love that. I love that. Yeah. You know, rejection can be really hard, and especially if you aren't healed, because, you know, think about the dating environment today. You know, you're on that social media, you're on a dating app, people are ghosting you. You have to really be in a whole place to be able to sometimes handle that environment. And, you know, what I want to say about rejection is protection. It really is truly protection. So anyway, I want to just thank you so much for being here today. Leave your comments. Go to Codependence Recovery, join my Facebook group, get your free ebook, which is called Filling the Empty Heart. And I will see you in the next couple weeks. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.